Hello and welcome to this presentation on sports medicine updates for the 2017-2018 school year. Today's presentation is designed to provide viewers with updates on a number of sports medicine related topics. It is hoped this presentation will enable those who serve on the medical staffs at IHSA member schools to better serve the needs of each member school. These 8 individuals serve the association as members of the IHSA Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. The committee meets multiple times throughout the year and focus the majority of their efforts on education of sports medicine items for the membership. The committee often works with other advisory committees on projects specific to certain sports. Individuals with questions about any of the topics on this presentation or regarding any sports medicine issue can contact Kirk Gibson at the IHSA office. The first section of this presentation will focus on concussion reporting and education. Concussion reporting is a high priority sports medicine topic again this year. House Bill 4365 requires that all schools who utilize the services of an athletic trainer submit reports to the IHSA on any student athlete who sustains a concussion, even if the concussion occurs away from school or a school event. In the event a member school goes a month without a concussion to report, the school must also report that information to the IHSA. All reporting is done in the IHSA school center. Athletic trainers will need to use their proper athletic trainer login to access the reporting area. Logging in as a school's body fat tester will not allow the user to access the concussion reporting area. If athletic trainers have lost or forgotten their athletic trainer login, they should contact Kirk Gibson or Laura Hennings at the IHSA office. Once logged in, athletic trainers can submit a concussion report by selecting the C tab in the Schools Center. As a reminder, athletic trainers should go to the C tab at the end of each month, even in a month where their school has no concussions to report. The IHSA will tabulate all submitted reports and prepare a summary for the General Assembly at the end of the 2017-2018 school year. Schools that don't utilize the services of an athletic trainer are not required to submit concussion reports. However, the reporting mechanism is available for those schools, and schools are encouraged to submit their concussion information as well. Administrators can access the reporting area by logging into the school center and selecting the R tab. Collecting this data is an important initiative for the SMAC, and all schools are thanked in advance for their help in submitting this data. The 2017-2018 school year also marks the end of the first 2-year concussion education cycle for administrators, coaches, concussion oversight team members, and licensed officials as required by the Youth Sports Concussion Safety Act. Early adopters of the first training cycle completed their training in the spring of 2016, so the IHSA and the IESA anticipate having their new training program available in March of 2018. Member schools will want to make sure they are monitoring the status of their coaches to ensure they have maintained compliance with the law. Coaches who are not in compliance with this training may not coach until they have successfully completed an approved training program. A list of outside concussion education providers is available on the IHSA Sports Medicine page for anyone interested in completing a program other than the IHSA IESA's program. This section of the presentation will discuss one of the IHSA's new initiatives for the 2017-2018 school year, the pregame huddle. The pregame huddle is a new initiative being promoted by the IHSA this year to address what coverages and/or procedures will be followed for an event from the sports medicine perspective. This initiative represents a current sports medicine best practice that is being used around the country in many other states. However, it's important to note that this is not a mandate or requirement from the IHSA office. The hope and expectation, though, is that many events will have a huddle prior to the start of play. In the event a huddle does not occur prior to an event, officials do not need to follow up with a special report to the IHSA office. The pregame huddle is an attempt to formalize a conversation between medical providers, coaches, and officials prior to the start of an event. Ultimately, a huddle could occur at any point prior to the start of the event, but one easy and possibly most convenient time for the huddle to occur is during the pregame sportsmanship meeting of officials, coaches, and captains. The purpose of the huddle is to allow host game management the opportunity to communicate with the opponents and the contest officials about, among other things, the medical coverages that will be available during the contest, emergency action plan essentials in case of a catastrophic injury, and severe weather evacuation plans if necessary. During this time, competing schools should identify who, if anyone, will be available for their school to evaluate athletes removed from the event with a possible head injury. Host game management can determine who will represent the host and conduct the huddle. In many cases, the school's athletic trainer will lead the huddle. However, the school's coach could be the person who conducts the meeting. It's going to vary by school, contest, and venue. Regardless of who conducts this meeting, it's expected that a huddle shouldn't exceed 2 minutes. So a huddle should not detract from or prevent an event from beginning at its scheduled time. For multiple school events like tournaments, tournament managers may want to consider providing huddle information to competing schools and contest officials in advance of the event with other pre-tournament instructions. Having a pregame huddle sets a good tone for the event and gives everyone associated with the contest a better idea of how emergency-type situations will be handled. The next section of the presentation will provide an update on the IHSA's Performance Enhancing Substance Testing Program. In June, the IHSA Board of Directors decided to discontinue the association's Performance Enhancing Substance Testing Program. The program had been in place since the 2008-2009 school year, and through the program nearly 3,000 students had been tested. Designed to serve as a deterrent for substance use, the program successfully accomplished its goal, and the board's decision allows the association to reallocate the funds earmarked for testing to other initiatives. The policy, however, remains in place, so students determined to have taken substances on the IHSA's banned substance list will be punished in accordance with their school's athletic code or policy. Additionally, coaches are still required to complete the PES education program in the IHSA School Center, so schools will need to make sure that those coaches have done so prior to engaging in any coaching activities. The IHSA appreciates the work of the entire membership over the years with this project. The last section of the presentation will highlight some other new sports medicine related happenings for the upcoming school year. Last spring, the IHSA Wrestling and Sports Medicine Advisory Committees met briefly to discuss the IHSA's skin condition form. After thoughtful discussion, the committees realized the form needed to be updated to make the form more user-friendly, particularly for the medical professional examining the student-athlete. A revised form will be available in time for the upcoming wrestling season and will be able and found in the IHSA Download Center. Member schools will want to make sure they use the new form beginning this year. One recommendation made by the IHSA SMAC and approved by the Board of Directors will now allow member schools who are playing in the football and soccer state finals to request up to 2 credentials for approved athletic trainers and/or team physicians. Schools will request these credentials from the IHSA Sport Administrator after qualifying for the state finals. The IHSA will check to ensure the individuals are, in fact, licensed athletic trainers or physicians and provide the credentials at the state finals to the member school. It is not expected that the addition of one extra medical credential will negatively impact any of these events. Football and soccer teams typically have larger rosters, and allowing an additional person to work with the teams at the state finals will be more consistent with regular season coverage for schools. The last topic involves acclimatization. At their last meeting, the IHSA SMAC began to discuss acclimatization for sports besides football. As many people know, football is currently the only sport or activity with a specific acclimatization period that teams need to follow, both in the summer and at the start of the season. Heat illness, though, is not a sport-specific topic and can impact athletes in any sport. The SMAC will continue its discussion this year, and it is expected they will look at approaches being used in other states regarding acclimatization. Heat illness is preventable, and even without a specific policy, member schools should make sure they are taking necessary precautions to ensure student safety, especially at the beginning of each sports season. The IHSA would like to thank you for viewing this presentation. Anyone with questions can contact Kirk Gibson at the IHSA office during normal business hours. Have a great and safe school year.